We play and call it work.
Hey there guys, Quirk here from MiniWarGaming.com and welcome to this week's Open Vault with me, Quirk. Yay! Someone out there does not want to listen to me talk for an hour, but that's okay. just a quick heads up guys, Tarek's in the room with me right now, he's painting away. And he's just laughing away over there. Quick reminder for everybody, next week is going to be a sit and talk with Dave. So if you have any questions or comments for him, leave that in the comment section below on this video on the website, just so we can find them a little bit easier. Just put Dave and then your question or comments and it's for him. And otherwise, let's get right to it. We have a half hour here and then we have a half hour in the vault. So let's get right to it with the first question. And we'll start this 30-minute timer. And I'm gonna try not to sneeze or cough. All right, first question here. William Kaw at Q. If you could harness the warp, what power would you throw at any one mini wargamer? Ooh, that's a good question. Honestly, I feel like there's a warp time joke here somewhere about somebody not doing their job very quickly, but I can't think of anybody who that would benefit. You know, actually, it would be amazing to cast warp time on Lee just to see how fast he could paint an entire army when he's going twice as fast. I think that'd be kind of sweet. Next one is Lavarius at QFed. Why is that a thing? What do you think about Chaos becoming the favorite of GW? The Plague Marines are absolute monsters, and with the new release of Mortarion and Death Guard rules, I think the rest of us are screwed. Also, I've been arguing with a friend as I think they should only be ever allowed one Lord of War per army in a tournament setting. What do you think? I agree, the Plague Marines are very, very, very good. In all fairness though, Nurgle already had most of the benefits that they have right now. Nurgle is actually a little bit better than Death Guard, I think, for survivability in the sense that, yeah, they're toughness 3, or sorry, they're actually toughness 4, but they've got the 5-up demon safe, then they also have the disgustingly resilient built into it as well. So you get a lot of saves. It's very difficult, especially Poxwalkers, incredibly difficult to get rid of them. But with the new Death Guard stuff, we've got Mortarion, who just is amazing and impossible to kill. The new tanks they get, it's like 150 points for a tank that's just not going away and can actually put out quite a bit of damage. I'm sorry, I'm trying really hard not to cough right now or burp, especially since the mic's like right here. I don't want to have you guys listen to that. Shut up, Tarek. So yeah, I think Death Guard did get a very good buff, but we've been seeing that a lot with everything. I know Grey Knights and Chaos as a whole didn't get as impressive as a buff as Death Guard did, just because they were kind of pre-existing things. Like, we already have Chaos and we already have Grey Knights, and they have a little bit of a lore and a history built up to it. Whereas Death Guard is new. It's the first time they're getting their own supplements, the first time they're getting their Primarch released. They're being introduced a whole bunch of new models. And that's the kind of a pattern I've been seeing with GW, is that anytime they release a new model, it tends to be really, really good. Example is like the Primaris Marines. Primaris stuff is really good. The Repulsor is amazing. So it's not unlikely to see Death Guard get a good buff. And then with the new books that are coming out, we're going to see, hopefully, Nids get some new stuff, Eldar get some new stuff, Guard, hopefully you get a points increase on everything, because you need it. But, yeah. As for the second thing, you've been arguing with your friend on there should only be one Lord of War allowed per tournament at a tournament setting. Recently, I've been going into the tournament scene, so I was at the Nova Open, and their army list construction was fairly straightforward. There was no real limitations to it, but now I'm getting ready for the Renegade Open, and looking at a couple of other different tournaments and their rule setting, they seem to establish something about Forge World where it's either you're allowed one Forge World unit or one Forge World unit per detachment. So that means if you want to bring a crazy powerful Lord of War, if you want to bring the Earthshaker cannons, if you want to bring a Malefic Lord, things like that, you're limited to one or one per detachment. And I really like that. So you're allowed to bring like squadrons of them. So for Guard bringing Wyverns or anything, or not Wyverns, Renegades bringing Wyverns or anything, you can bring 3, but it's only able to fill 1 slot. And with the Renegade Open, you're only allowed to bring it 1 time, which completely shut down the list that I was planning on bringing. So now I had to rework everything, and I'm very upset because I already bought a bunch of boxes and stuff. A little bit of advice here, or a little bit of a hint. I was planning on bringing these guys, all 150 Brimstones. I sold 30 of them. Still going to bring them, but now I have to rework my list. But yeah, a lot of tournament settings are now limiting the amount of Lord of Wars you can take. Usually I think it's the Supreme Catan, not Catan, a Command, no. the Supreme, I don't remember what it's called, the one detachment that allows you to bring a single Lord of War, they are limiting that to 1. So you're only allowed to bring it once. And that's something that's being seen a lot more in tournament settings, just to kind of shut down the amount of Lord of Wars people can bring. It still means we're going to see Guilliman spams at tournaments, which is kind of annoying, but there's not really much you can do about that. Next up we have Mick Hawk. Aha! I see what you did there, sir, and I almost fell for it. Q-Fed, the Quirkster. I hate you so much right now, it's alright. Open Vaults, and what happened to the Q-Tip videos, tactics. We are seeing the trailers for Deathwatch starting to show up. Did you have as much fun making it as it looks? Have Matt been making your paranoid again like in the Deathwatch campaigns? And would you rather be GM'd by 5 Matt-sized Steves or 1 Steve-sized Matt? Ooh. Okay, I'm going to do these backwards. I would rather be GM'd by a single Steve-sized Matt than 5 Matt-sized Steves, because they would all argue with each other, and nothing would get done. As for the Deathwatch stuff, Deathwatch, it was a lot of fun to film. You will see in the videos that Matt gets a little bit frustrated with me because I kind of game his system, and then I get punished for it. And he did make me a little bit paranoid because he has, as you saw in the trailer, just us fooling around, there was a lot of challenges to see who got to do certain things first, and that's what those challenges are for. I get hurt in a lot of them. I get very hurt. What happened to the Q-Tip videos and open vaults? Well, yesterday we filmed a very special open vault, which Rob is editing right this second. I'm not going to get into it too much, but I will tell you this much. There's a VR system. That's all I'm going to say for that. As for the Q-Tip videos or the breakdown videos, I have pretty much after this video and the vault video the rest of the day scheduled to film those. I have not had a chance to actually... I've read through all the lists people have sent me. There are a handful of lists that I would very much like to actually analyze and go through. It's just very difficult to find the time to actually grab everything and work on it, especially with all the campaigns and stuff we've been working on recently. So today is a day that I've set aside to film that. So you will hopefully be seeing a couple videos for that popping up soon. All right, next up we have Reaper 6660. I see what you're doing there. Hey Quirk, now that you're a superstar MiniWarGaming YouTube DJ, does it help you with the ladies at all? Also, what do you think of the new Sakaran variant with a plasma turret? Would you get one for your Alpha Legion? I almost messed that up. Would I get one for my Alpha Legion? Probably. Plasma scares me. I'm going to be honest. You guys know how much I roll ones. Plasma terrifies me. I would definitely have to have Alfarius on the board just to give me the reroll. Actually, no, I don't think I benefit from that because they don't have the... Oh, I want one. I don't think I would ever use it just because I'd be too scared of blowing myself up. As for being a superstar MiniWarGaming YouTube DJ, no, it doesn't really help with the ladies. Usually if a girl asks me what I do for a living in that environment, I tell them I'm unemployed. It's just easier. I go for the pity card. Straight up go for the pity card. Tarek is having a hard time painting right now because he's laughing so much.
I can't.
All right. What is it with these names? Okay. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. I don't want to say it. Ho Muffin. Hey Quirk, wanted to say thanks. Your War Machine videos got me into the hobby. What other mini games do you play besides 40K? I'd love to see some War Machine stuff, especially with Mark III and the theme dump coming soon. But I understand there aren't enough viewers or interested to justify it. You are right. I do miss playing War Machine. I loved that game. I haven't gotten a chance to play it in a very long time. I think the last time I actually pulled the models out of the case and played a game was Valhalla last year. So that's how long it's been since I've played a game of War Machine. So it's been a while. I guarantee stuff has changed. I'm still trying to keep up on it. Like there's all the Grimkin stuff. That looks amazing. Other mini games that I do like to play. We've just recently started looking at Dark Age. I picked up the command box and started working on that. Is that model within reaching distance? It is. Hang on. Come here, you. So, I do like the miniatures. I actually managed to paint this guy up in about 2 hours. So, there we go. So, got him all painted up. That was fun. But looking forward to playing that. I got a chance to kind of demo it at Nova and had an absolute blast playing it. It kind of helped that the guy giving me the whole instructions on it was just whiffing every single roll of his. So that made me pretty happy. I was like, oh, this is what it feels like to be on the other side. But no, I haven't played War Machine in a while. Playing Dark Age a little bit. Aside from that, it's mostly just GW games. I haven't got a chance to really do much else. Not really a miniature game, but I play Magic. So, but I just sold like a $500 deck for about 180 bucks. That hurt my soul. Moving on. Woodrow Wimpy. Okay. Dear Quirk, has your dice rolling become so bad that you are willing to sacrifice drinking pleasant tasting beverages for a time to buy casino dice? No. No. No, I still very much like my pleasant tasting drinks. All right. Someone's gonna take a picture of that. It's gonna. Oh, that's a meme. Anyway. No, I haven't. We recently just got in a new shipment of our custom dice from Chessex, so we're going to be using those. I don't know what it is, but those blue dice with the market Quirk, they are cursed. If you ever get one, don't roll it. Give it to your opponent. You'll win. Brox the Mighty. Ooh, that one is not for me. Wait. I don't know. Nope, that's not for me. Okay. Catfish 66. Cuvecad Beverly. Okay. Between wearing muscle shirts and rolling dice, what other activities aside from wargaming interest you recently? Also, do you or any of the zany rascals have any plans to come to Wargaming Con in Las Vegas at the beginning of 2018? One last thing. We know Colin's favorite cake. What is yours? My favorite cake is probably lemon meringue. I am a big fan of lemon meringue. Or carrot cake. Carrot cake is good as well. But it's got carrots in it. I know people are like, oh, that's gross, but it tastes good. I don't think any of us are planning on going to the Wargaming Con in Las Vegas. But again, that's a couple months away and we haven't really looked into it too much. Like right now, the farthest my schedule goes is November, and that's for the Renegade Open. And I am stressing out a little bit about the list that I need to bring. Yeah. Anyway. And aside from wearing muscle shirts and rolling dice, what other activities aside from wargaming interest you recently? Oh, that's a good question. I do play video games. I play a lot of video games. I mean, look at the computer I have. It's fantastic. I recently had somebody move into my house and take over the office space for a short period of time, so I had to move all my stuff here. So I've got a VR set up in the office right now, and I've been kind of enjoying getting everybody to try and play that VR. I'm looking forward to you guys watching that open vault because it's hilarious. We all start... I'm not going to wreck anything for you here, but we play a game that's designed to induce vertigo. Just going to leave it at that. But yeah, I very much like video games. Playing things like League of Legends. Baldur's Gate, actually, with Steve and the gang was kind of fun. What other activities? Can't really think of anything off the top of my head right now. That's about it. Sorry. It's work right now, man. It's just work, work, work. Next up, we have Mr. Z. Hello, Mr. Z. Hey, Quirk, master of all that rolls poorly. Oh, sorry, you wrote Puli. You missed an O. It's like the one spelling mistake I'm ever going to notice. All right. At one of your sit-and talks, you mentioned that right now there are 3 types of armies: Elite, Gunline, and Horde. Which one do you say is the most fun to play with, and which one is the easiest to field in a overall battlefield management? I'm interested more in the general concept rather than specific race or specific type, but if you have one for each of those types, then please share them as well. Have fun doing what you do, Mr. Z. Okay. Yeah. So to kind of break it down right now, like I said, you kind of got it broken down into 3 major things. You've got your Elite, your Gunline, and your Horde army. Horde armies beat Elites. Gunlines beat Hordes. Elites beat Gunlines. It's just the way it works. That I've noticed anyway. There are some weird stipulations, and the one that's really kind of breaking that whole atmosphere right now is Astra Militarum, because they are a Horde gunline through and through. So they have the weakness against elites, but they also have the plus against elites, so they can just completely break that entire thing. I can't even think of the word for it right now. Oh, there's the burp. Sorry. So The most fun to play, it depends on your play style. Like if you are just getting into the game and you really want to figure out what you're doing and learn the game, a good one is Gunline. You don't have to worry too much about movement. It's all kind of done in the original deployment phase, and your entire job is just shoot your opponent off the board and move a little bit to maintain line of sight. If you're playing guard of any type or anything like that, you don't usually have to worry about it because you've got your basilisks, you've got your wyverns, you've got all these things that just ignore line of sight, so you don't have to worry about that. Tau is a good example of a gunline because they've got the supremacy armor, they've got the riptide, they've got all these different things, but the nice thing about them is that everything that they have stacks on top of itself. So you do the marker lights, then you can fire your destroyer missiles. If you get 2 marker lights on a target, they will absolutely wreck something. You've got the crisis suits with fusion blasters that can just drop in, especially if you have a stealth suit team putting down a homing beacon. They can land right in front of something and just light it up. It's good. So that's your gun lines. Your horde army is basically anything that's orky. So you got like orcs, tyranids, in some cases demons. Like I'm kind of doing it here with my brimstones. They don't really follow the whole shtick to it. My theory for anything that's a horde is if you're able to have a troop unit higher than 20 models. So again, you got orcs with 30 boys, you've got guard with conscripts that are like 40 models, you've got gaunts and nids that are 20 to 30 models. So anything like that is usually a horde army. If you have a gigantic unit of guys, that's your horde. They're fun to play, but the thing is, they get very tedious when you're trying to move against a very heavily terrain-filled board. So yeah, there's that. If you're looking for budget and you want to kind of stick to one thing, elite armies are pretty good too. Those are your things like Space Marines, Grey Knights, Imperial Armor, anything. Their whole shtick is they kind of specialize in one thing. So they either specialize in shooting, they specialize in close combat. Those 2 things right there. Mobility is a big one. But the thing is, they are very killy, and they are very good at taking down any target. So that's why I say elites have a hard time against hordes, because a lot of their weaponry is usually designed to put massive amount of damage into a single shot. Whereas if you're shooting, say, a last cannon into a herd of boys, doesn't matter. The most you're going to kill is 1 boy. So as for which one's most fun to play, again, it depends on your playstyle. If you like shooting stuff, take a gunline. If you like running a tremendous amount of models, go with a horde army. If you want to be very specialized and very good at something, go with an elite army. I've given you a couple examples. There's obviously more. All these armies can kind of interchange and mingle a little bit, but they are for the most part set very heavily into one of those 3 aside from guard. So yeah, that's the best I can do for that one. Moving on from there, we've got Big Mickey. Quirk, with some of the other content producers starting to show interest in producing content featuring non-GW games, can we expect you to potentially cover a new game? Yeah, I'm joining Steve with Dark Potential. Whoa, I didn't say that. Okay, I don't think Matt's outsider, so we're good. Dark Age is what I meant. So, yeah. I know Matt right now is doing This Is Not a Test. Steve is very interested in Dark Age, as well as, the box is like right there. Hail Caesar, that's what it's called. It's more of a fantasy style game. I really like the small skirmish, almost board game type games. So you're looking at things like Malifaux, which we won't cover. But you're looking at things like Malifaux, Relic Knights. I'm pretty sure Dark Age is one of those as well, where the game is played on at the biggest, a 4x4 board. You might field like 12 models to 13 to 14 models. You're never having to field a lot of stuff. And it really just comes, or Infinity is another one. It always comes down to the placement of your models, and just, I love rolling dice higher than a D6. So very much enjoy that. But as for right now, nope, my main focus right now is, I'm going to toss this page down. My main focus right now is looking at the tournament scene for 40K and kind of adjusting a lot of the stuff I do to accommodate that. I'm also trying to give myself a crash course, I guess, on the tournament meta, the tournament scene, seeing what are very good lists, seeing how different tournaments run their tournaments for the most part, how they establish, you can build your army, how they establish the missions are going to go, how they establish points, things like that. I'm very interested in that right now, so that's kind of where I've been shifting gears towards, which is why you see things like the Breakdown and why I went to the Nova Open and played in the GT and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I'm shifting gears. So while everyone else is playing different things, I'm kind of looking at a different side of 40K. Moving on, we have Taranga. Quirk, where have the open vaults gone? I just told you, I filmed one. It's going to go up. Rob's editing it right now. Hopefully he doesn't mess that up because it's going to take a little bit of finesse to edit this properly. Kang the Knight. Okay. Quirk, how was the Deathwatch campaign? You didn't have to go into specifics, but how fun was it and what kind of feedback would you give Matt? It was a lot of fun. Had an absolute blast playing in it. Got very attached to the characters, got very attached to the abilities of the characters, so that was a lot of fun. The only advice that I would give Matt is he did a playtest for it, and I feel like he only kind of tested, because the thing is, if you create something and then you playtest it, you will playtest it the way you think it should be designed, and it's very difficult to look at it outside of the box that you've created for that game. So I feel like that happens a lot with a lot of miniature companies when they create a game. They say, okay, here's our game. For example, Games Workshop, when they said, here's our new game, here's 8th edition, here you go, test it out. Oh, you guys found a lot of things that we didn't think of. And even when their playtesters go through it, they can miss stuff too, because they're still part of that whole, we're going to help you guys design everything. So that's why you see erratas and FAQs coming out like the next day. So that's just how fast they get their feedback for it. So I would say he needs to, if he was to playtest it, he needs to not participate in the playtest. He needs to just kind of sit back, observe, and let it run its course. Let everybody make every mistake they possibly can. Don't answer questions. Just let people play it. They think it's the way it's supposed to be intended. And then kind of edit it from there. When he did it, I don't think he got a chance to really do it to the extent he should have. But it still made for a great campaign, and it made for a lot of Matt going, I'm going to punch you in the face. So I'm pretty sure that got caught on camera. Actually, Matt threatened to punch me in the face because I was gaming his game. Moving on. Sorry. Bildrat, Quirk. All of the Augustine nailed it. All of the Augustine's wreckage videos are now out. I found the campaign really entertaining and got a lot of enjoyment out of it. So thanks a lot to you and the other team members who helped out put this together. Thank you. However, I did notice that the gangs that won their first few games were able to go form strength to strength. Oh, whilst the others were unable to catch up and floundered because, for the most part. Did you feel the same thing? Do you think you could have been more options for struggling players to catch up, or was it just a certain gangs were inherently less powerful? No, it's the campaign as a whole kind of came off as almost like a NASCAR race, where right out of the gate, the people who got a good lead had a good lead and it helped them, whereas people who fell behind had to kind of really work to get up there, but it was still very difficult to pass the person in the lead. I'm going to cough again, guys. I'm sorry. So yeah, it was getting the lead at the beginning definitely helped out a lot of players, and it did show, but it was still a lot of fun. Like, if you were the underdog, you're no longer playing for the win, you were playing to see how much you could hurt the person ahead of you, or what you could possibly do to try and catch up or do something. Whereas, like, you know, the guys who are in the lead, like Steve and Josh and Matt, were just kind of like, okay, well, we're just gonna, you know, keep fighting each other and do all these different missions. Whereas everybody else was like, you know what, I'm gonna try. I want to get another assassin. I'm going to work really hard to get the money to get me another assassin, because assassins are fun. So, no, I still had a lot of fun with it, but yeah, I definitely did notice that right off the hop, people who got an early victory tended to get a little bit of an advantage as the games progressed. All right, next up we have you. Hawk. Mac? Hawk. There we go. At DBQ, the Bevs. Have you ever looked into Batman miniature game? With V2 being on the way, the game is getting a remake, and so far it looks great. And what is it? And what is not? Oh, there's supposed to be a T there. And what is not to like about a miniature game where you can play Batman? I haven't actually looked at the Batman game. I know Josh has. That wasn't very reassuring. I think Josh has. It looks cool from the miniatures that I've seen, but it doesn't. It's gonna sound really bad. I'm not a huge Batman fan. I thought Tar was going to punch me there. No, I like Batman. Love the movies, love the comics, but like the video game stuff like that, I played the demo for about 5 minutes. Like, this doesn't really do much for me.
You dead to me.
I could just see the number of my fans dropping, being like, he doesn't like Batman? I do like superheroes. I think Batman's cool. But I don't know.
Stop, no.
I like the Joker.
No.
I think he's cool. I'd play him. Lomacroft, hey Q, I asked Josh and Lee this in the last video, and I want to run it past everyone. Do you have any plans to paint up a new Necromunda game for the new edition when it comes out? If so, what gang? Ooh. I do plan on painting one. I don't know which one, but I'm pretty sure there's a model in there who has a mohawk. And then on top of that, he's carrying an axe where the blade is a mohawk. I don't know what gang he's in, but I want to be that gang. Captain Minis. Hey, Quirk. Has anyone looked at Kings of War rules? If so, what do you think of them? I haven't looked at them. I think Steve's looked at them because they're a little bit fantasy-esque, but no, I haven't really looked into them too much. That's more of a fantasy thing. Here's the thing, I really like sci-fi stuff. You give me sci-fi anything, you show me plasma, you show me a cortex, you show me robotics, you show me steampunk, stuff like that, I am 100% down. You show me fantasy, and I'm just like, okay, I get it, I understand it, I enjoy it from time to time, but seeing the rank and file in a game, like even for 8th edition fantasy, no, does nothing for me. If I see a rank and file, like I enjoyed playing the Total War games because I could break up the rank and file. So that was what interested me about that. But when I see, you know, giant trays that are just essentially wound counters, it loses its luster for me. Wow, I'm just upsetting everybody in this video.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh. All right, Anubis45. Hey, Quirk, any way to beat Mortarion, or is there weapons that ignore saves and invulnerable saves as well? There are weapons that ignore saves and invulnerable saves. And by saves and invulnerable saves, I mean they ignore invulnerable saves and force somebody to take a ridiculously bad armor save. The Vindicare Assassin, his sniper rifle, which hits on 2s, and if you're hitting infantry wounds on 2s, if you roll a 6 for that, does D6 damage instead of the D3 damage that it normally does. It ignores invulnerable saves. And I believe it's -3 to the armor save, so Mortarion would be getting a 6-up? I think he has a 3-up normally, so he'd be getting a 6-up. But that still does not negate the whole disgustingly resilient. That's what makes him really good. So, ways to beat Mortarion. Grey Knights, firing Smite at him, forcing those 3 5-up disgustingly resilient saves. That's one way to do it. Psychic will definitely do some damage to him. Last Cannons. Last Cannons will force him to get the invulnerable save, so he's relying on that 5-up, 4-up. I don't even know what it is, just because I look at it, I'm like, I hope I don't ever have to play against him. He does have more than 10 wounds, so he is targetable, so that means you can fire a bunch of stuff at him. At this point, I think it's just volume of fire. Volume of fire, force your opponent to roll those dice. You can try for some really big shots with Last Cannon and stuff like that, but there's probably better targets. I still think Mortarion's tough, but I still think Magnus is tougher to kill. Well, not to kill. Magnus can do more damage. Mortarion is definitely a roadblock. He is hard to get rid of. He is a tree stump. You can't get rid of him. And he does do some damage, but not as much as Magnus. So, still not as broken as Gulliman. Putting that out there right now. Gulliman, broken. Broken. Moving on. All right. Michael Albright. Hey guys, I just want to know, since you guys play so many different games of tabletop games, which are your favorites and why, and which is your least favorite and why? I think I kind of explained that a little bit. Right now, actually, my favorite will be 40K. I love War Machine, but 40K is my favorite game. My least favorite game is 8th Edition Fantasy, because I don't get it. I cannot wrap my head around it. I understand the movement aspect to it. I understand the math aspect to it. I understand all this other stuff. I can't build a list. I can't play a game. I'll be like, okay, you know what? These guys seem really good on paper, and they should be able to take out those guys. And I'll charge in. I'm like, okay, no, oh, and they're dead. I don't get it. So I cannot wrap my head around that. And I've tried. I have legitimately tried. Okay, next up we have Something Angry. Actually, Tark, do you want to answer that question I had before? What's your favorite tabletop game and your least favorite tabletop game? Just because I have them here.
Favorite would probably be 40K because I'm kind of a sci-fi fan. Least favorite would probably, in my opinion, be War Machine Hordes, but that's just because I don't have a lot of experience with it, and so
You're dead to me.
wow. Hey, 1 for 1.
There we go.
Batman.
I didn't say I don't like Batman. I did not say I don't like him.
Oh.
I just said he doesn't really do anything for me. I enjoy watching the movies.
That's the same exact thing.
All right, I'm gonna argue the English. I'm gonna argue the English language with a foreign guy. Let's do this.
Why would you argue English people, dude?
I don't know. All right, so that's 30 minutes. We got time for one more. All right. Tark's just dying. Okay, good. Good talk, buddy. All right, last question we have here before we go into the vault. Something angry. Dear Quirk, has there ever been a 40K character that has ridden a pig into war? If Mortarion could be a tree, what type of tree would Mortarion be? What about Magnus? I feel like you just said that just to rhyme, but okay. Has there ever been a 40K character that has ridden a pig into war? Not 40K. Fantasy there has been. 40K, you've got squig riders and stuff like that. But I can't think of anybody who's ever ridden a pig in a battle. Can you think of one, Tark?
No.
No? Okay. And if Mortarion could be a tree, what type of tree would Mortarion be? I think he would be a rotting tree that's been there for way too long. Probably an oak. An oak.
A rotting oak?
A rotting oak. As for Magnus, I'm thinking cherry blossom. No. Redwood. He'd be a redwood.
Because he's red.
Because he's red. All right, there we go, guys. So that's going to be it for our 30 minutes. For another 30 minutes, go ahead and click the link in the video description below to see me continue answering your questions in the vault, where I get on to things like, as a fellow Zeech player, oh, that's going to be a good one. Apparently, I have to yell something in Orcish, and questions about the Caluxus Assassin. Okay, yeah, so it's going to be interesting. Oh, what type of bike do I ride? Okay, yeah, so guys, go ahead and click the link in the video description below. One last reminder, the next Sit and Talk is going to be with Dave, so go ahead and leave a comment for him, just with Dave, and then your comment, so we know that's for him. And otherwise, guys, we will see you in the vault. Thanks so much for watching. Happy wargaming.